mentioned Afterthought Tyler, 5 goals in a single game. That sounds great, but if you take out that one game, he's only got 8 goals on the season. There are only a handful of players that are at or even below that mark. 2 of them are subs. 1 of them can't play anymore, and 2 of them are on the dude. So take that for what it's worth. Afterthought Tyler, I think he has to be the focal point for Afterthought. He just hasn't been lately.
We shall have to see. Afterthought, definitely the team for me to watch. They have had some emotional spots, and it really all comes down to the mentality on the day. But here we go. Best of 5 RBG and Afterthought. Let's break it down.
And it will be, it looks like Ty on this opening kickoff. It is, and he will get that to Shock to start things off for Afterthought. It is Ty against Aeon. That ball will fall to Rapid. His shot set away by Hado. Both of these teams, they are still very much alive for a top 4 spot, but the path to get there, much easier for RBG. Win both matches and you're in. Shock, his shot's gonna be just wide and set away by Aeon.
The thing I'm looking out for right here is Afterthought, they tend to do a lot better when they play against a team that will allow them to push out onto offense. If they're just playing defense the entire time, it's not gonna work out. So I wanna see if the rotation will find a space to move up. And there's a good shot from Shock. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Rapid needs to get this out of harm's way, and he does find Aeon, or rather Aeon finds Rapid's clear. And now Shock trying to go over both Aeon and Rapid. He'll send Rapid to the back wall. That allows him to clear this ball off to the side. Another follow-up. This will go through, and it is Afterthought Tyler.
Great speed on this offense, and Afterthought not giving their opponents any space whatsoever. Bit of a double commit there on the back line allows for a nice, easy spot for Ty to find. 75 miles an hour as well. Big, booming shot, and an easy lead for Afterthought.
Ty, one of 2 players that have found 5 goals in a single game this season in North America, the other being Sosa of the Embers. Ty gonna just pop this ball away and retreat back towards the net, and he can't make the save. Aeon just plays it too far ahead of him.
And RBG had a man hunting him down just in case as well. You can see Rapid trying to chase Afterthought Tyler out of the corner. Did not matter. Great shot placement from Aeon. A good response. 65 miles an hour on that one, and we're looking at a high velocity game.
Could be a lot of goals between these 2 teams, but if it turns into a shootout, definitely favors RBG. Rapid, I think, ran into Astro. That may have helped him get that ball further out. Shock will bring it back in. Astro has to come in, and now Rapid will chase this down as part of his rotation. Rapid around Hado, but right at Ty. Astro, well read, and now a double commit could be trouble, as Afterthought just about gave up an open net opportunity, but nobody there to capitalize for RBG.
And a good clear away from Afterthought Tyler as well as Astro for a shot just wide. They're keeping up the pressure. They want to see if they can break down Afterthought. And as I mentioned earlier, they do tend to play a little bit worse if they're consistently on the defense. So let's see if this is going to turn into a problem or not, because we have had some back and forth so far.
Aeon drops this to the corner, gets a challenge on Hado as well. So too does Rapid. Now Afterthought Tyler looking for a Shock, but Aeon able to pop that away. This ball goes well past Shock. Astro will go back for his own boost. Tell Rapid to just take a seat at the back, and Rapid needs to contend with this effort from Ty off the backboard. Hado can't get a second touch. Shock will try to keep the play alive. Aeon has whipped it entirely, and Hado finds Ty for the lead.
And Afterthought just going fishing with this one because there is so much bait onto the back wall. They are just pulling defender after defender, trying to defend the backboard. Did not work out in any circumstance, and I feel like they might have put something like 4 balls in a row onto the back wall just to get the RBG players out of the net, and it worked wonders.
So back and forth they go. Afterthought now with their second lead. And Aeon will gently drop this to the corner. But Afterthought has enjoyed a lot of offensive pressure. Astro and Hado challenging for this ball. And finally, Rapid will get this away. Needs to climb up, kind of an impromptu shooting opportunity, and it's going to be sent away. Aeon will watch that ball drop down out of his control, and Astro can't chase it down. Here goes Shock. He gets around Rapid. It's only Aeon in front of the net, but a side flip from Hato leaves the back door open, and we're tied again.
Only Aeon in front of the net, and surprise, that one's moving all the way downfield, and suddenly it's in the back of the Afterthought net. Something we weren't expecting. Aggressive positioning at the midfield line from the Afterthought third man opens up that huge gap for RBG to tie things up.
Ty's been one of the better defenders, but he got caught napping a little too far up at the midfield line. Inside 2 minutes left, could be another lead for Afterthought. It is. This time Hato scores.
Sneaking a slow ball in this time around, fresh off the kickoff, and here's Hato. Wonderful read on this bounce off the corner. Manages to get behind Aeon and Astro, trying to panic for that ball. Maybe Rapid could have had a touch there, and maybe that's a miscommunication, although it looked a little bit far-fetched.
Afterthought is back in front. It is very rare to see a team lose 3 leads in a single game. But that is what RBG is hoping to force on the part of Afterthought, as Ty could not finish the job here. That goes off the bar and away after the clear by Rapid. Afterthought have been all over this blue goal. Ty for Hato again. And Ty might circle around here. He will. Gonna have to race Aeon to this ball. It drops down in front of Shock. And a great challenge by Astro, winning 2 in a row. Now Rapid tried to put a lot on this shot, but he could not control it, nowhere near the target.
And this really feels like a big offensive game, because I'm honestly looking at this right now, and I'm thinking to myself, what are the strengths of either one of these teams? And honestly, it's just been offense so far. Afterthought have been doing a great job of sending the ball off the opposing back wall over and over. And RBG with some solo plays, that's not going to be good though, and open net all the way downfield, and Hato has a free beat.
Not a lot of defense being played in this series. Rapid gets a backflip as he starts cheating up a little bit with only 47 seconds to go, and the rotations just aren't there. You're seeing the third man back getting caught way too far downfield. I think that's a little early to even think about pulling the goalie with 47 to go.
Yeah, he's trying to just get involved in the play as fast as he can, and that really lends itself to what I was saying earlier. They're just trying to play so much offense that it's really compromising the defense on both sides of the ball. Of course, Afterthought haven't had too much of an issue with that, with only 2 goals against, but RBG have really been suffering.
Shock will bank this out for Ty. Shock looking for his first goal of this series. Very early on, of course, only game 1. Aeon will have a look here after a little bit of chaos at midfield. And the shot is saved away by Hato. And that might have been the last-ditch effort for RBG to get back into this game. Hato will score. Shock maybe gave it a look, but he'll let Hato have it. His 3rd and a hat trick.
Additional goals are always a good thing, and 3 saves for Hato as well. Every single goal this game for Afterthought has been assisted, and that's something you really want to see, because you know that all these players have the capacity to try and make those solo plays, but we also know that for a fact that if you only try to make solo plays, it's not going to work out so well for you. So good stuff for Afterthought, another save right there, and they are definitely outshooting RBG as well. Possession favoring them 11-8. As the ball hits the floor at 0 seconds, and Afterthought with a game 1 win, and they were looking pretty solid.
Hato with a hat trick and a savior medal. Haven't seen the trifecta in a very long time, if ever, actually. I can't remember seeing 3 goals, 3 assists, and 3 saves.
He came close
in a single Rival Series game, but yeah, a pair of assists on Ty's 2 goals, and he came very close. But Afterthought just dominant in game 1. They had a lot of zone time on the offensive end, and RBG, they look kind of lost there. It was not the defensive effort we're used to seeing out of a guy like Rapid.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about how Afterthought spending time in the red zone, and they're making good use of their time as well. That's the key, because sometimes we see a lot of teams that will just spend hours, it seems, on the opposing half and trying to put shot after shot after shot on, but then don't do anything with it. Afterthought, in this case, they were able to do exactly what they wanted just about every single time, and like you said, RBG weren't able to deal with it.
And Afterthought is a team that will get a lot of shots on average. They don't put many through like they did today. They also don't stop many. They did make stops on the few shots that RBG got for the most part.
Yeah, and you were talking about Afterthought. They are still in contention for that top 4 spot, so we want to see them do well. Obviously, RBG do need to win both of their matches today if they want to be a little bit more secure about their future. But, well, things can change. Moving into game number 2, RBG do have the potential to move this match into their favor. Some more offense is what I would like to see from them, but I suppose that's always true of the losing team.
And RBG has a lot to look forward to. If they don't win this match, they are in a world of trouble, having to get maybe a little bit of help and also get a big win over the 6-0 Birds and the Bees later on. So game by game, we'll be looking at that game differential as it pans out. Ty Tyler gonna drop one down. Hato thought about returning to the other end. Instead, he has to turn and tries to set up Shock for a shot. Does not work out. Ty misses entirely and will still recover to at least clear this away, and it's not on the goal line anymore.
And I'd like to see more punish out of RBG. Early on, they weren't able to do anything off that play. Ty Tyler, of course, missing the one ball, but nothing really came of it for RBG. So capitalization might be the name of the game for them as we move forward.
Aeon through Shock and downfield only as far as Hato. Here comes Hayden, and his shot's gonna be denied by Rapid. That's the Rapid we're used to seeing, but also the Ty Tyler we're used to seeing.
Open backboard equals an open net, and he had an open net as well. Hato with a great 50-50 there, dropping it down in front, and Astra actually jumped for that ball. Caused a little bit of a problem when you're in the air and the shot comes on net. Not able to get anywhere close to that one. Nice shot from Ty Tyler as well.
One theme we noticed on the European side is players that were mostly absent for the first half of the season really came alive at the end, and especially in week 5 here. Hato has been that guy for Afterthought. He was not doing a whole lot as Astro scores here and ties the game, looking very similar to game 1.
And Astro right here, he's got to be thinking a lot of things, and I don't think any of them were, I've got an open net, because he has no sight behind him. The ball's coming towards him. Okay, I can redirect this into the net, but at the same time, I am incredibly worried about anybody coming behind me. Kept this cool, managed to put it on target.
This ball will ricochet out in front, and Aeon and Shock will challenge. Nobody really gaining possession. Now Rapid throws another one in, and he'll have to chase this down himself. Aeon lurking as well, and he'll be called upon, and he does win the challenge at midfield. Could be a chance to have numbers, but he could not move the ball forward. Now Ty is gonna give way to Hato. Ty's on his way back. He thought about coming up, so too did Shock. Communication's not really there right now for Afterthought. Didn't really cost them in game 1. Rapid misread this ball, does all he can just to get a touch, but he wasted a lot of boost to get there. Clears this all the way down. Aeon trying to track it down, and he can't. Now Rapid for Astro, clever pass, and it's blocked away on the shot by Hato.
Afterthought and RBG at present, a big midfield battle. You're not seeing it on your screen right now, but it's so prevalent. Whenever the ball moves to the midfield line, you can tell there's such a fight to get possession of that ball, because both of these teams are so good at playing offense that they realize they're going to be in a world of hurt if they even let the ball get onto their own half.
This time Ty does get the power clear off the back wall, but he hasn't gotten out of harm's way. Rapid challenging Shock there, but Shock up to the task now downfield. This goes, and Aeon just watches it go in.
This is one of the most unfortunate situations you can be in. Aeon is going to be looking back on this one with a little bit of regret. Just past the half, and he's not able to make contact. One of the unfortunate truths of Rocket League is that it doesn't matter the coincidence of how the ball went in, it's just that it did.
Yeah, it looked like he had given up on that play and then realized way too late that the ball was going to be on its way to the net. And as a result, Afterthought have yet another lead. This is their 4th lead of this series. They've been answered every time by RBG except once. Hato, denied by Aeon. Rapid is not going to get the first touch, so Astro has to send it away. Did not get a lot of power on that clear, and Ty Tyler bounces one wide.
And that's an interesting option in my eyes, because he did have Hato out in center. Maybe he just was a little bit low on boost and called that he was going to go back for a second, but Ty Tyler, either way, went for the solo play instead of passing it off the backboard to use Hato as an option in center. The passing plays that were so prevalent in game number 1.
Aeon trying to chase this down. He does, finds Rapid, and Ty is there for the save. He's made plenty of them this season. The rest of his teammates, maybe not so much. Shock bounces one off the ceiling. This could be trouble. RBG is on the attack again. Flicked onward by Rapid. That throws off the defensive Afterthought. Is it enough to lead to a goal? Not so fast. Ty Tyler, another big clear.
And I really like that touch from Rapid as well. He's just trying to confuse the defense in any way possible. Realized that there would be a touch off the back wall, so knew he had to confuse them. But RBG, not able to keep it in the offensive end, what did it lead to? You're putting in a lot of effort and not getting much out of it. They're going to have to put one in the back of the net sooner or later.
Does feel like there's a lot of resource being wasted here. Loose ball in front. Astro should score it, and he does.
And finally, the effort is paying off. RBG finally managed to tie it up. And Aeon on the back wall causing some havoc. Rapid causing some havoc against Shock right there. And Astro is just playing cleanup crew right about there. 51 seconds on the clock. They managed to tie it up, but they weren't able to hold Afterthought to this tie.
I mean, this is the one that RBG really needs to win if they want to have a shot at holding their spot in the top 4. This goes all the way downfield. Aeon only to Ty-Not Tyler. Shock is there. He dunks it through, but Rapid is at the back. Down to 30 seconds. Aeon coming on. He'll have a look. That'll go to the backboard, and it's saved away by Shock. Aeon again. This time it's Shock again who clears it downfield. Chance for Afterthought to take this game away in the closing seconds. They can force a mistake out of Rapid. They cannot. Big clear downfield from Aeon. That's going to be just high. Follow-up is in from Astro.
Great tenacity here from RBG. They are not stopping for anyone. Aeon keeping that one in the zone, and Ty-Not Tyler desperate to clear that one away. Hits it right into the waiting arms of Astro. Great effort on the goal line by Afterthought, but it was not enough to stem the tide of offense. 8 seconds remain for them to tie it up now.
It was a hat trick in game 1 from Hato that propelled Afterthought to victory. Is it a hat trick from Astro that ties up this series? Ty's got to keep it in the air. He'll find Shock, double touch, it'll drop down, and this series is tied.
Great defense from Aeon coming off the back wall to secure the win. A lurker in the center in the form of Hato. He was ready for that ball, and they ended up killing it right in front of the net. And this is a little bit of an inverse story. We got Afterthought with 8 shots, which is still plenty, but RBG were out shooting them 13 this time around. Quite literally, the exact inverse of what we saw, because it was Afterthought leading with the double-digit shots, followed by RBG in the singles, 3-2 scoreline, and, well, I don't know what more you want me to say. That's it.
Yeah, Astro has been the guy for a large part of this season for RBG. Comes up huge here when he had been stifled in game 1.
And it's very important, obviously, to come out strong in these times. But for RBG, it is all about the players, because we saw definitely not the strongest showing in the first couple of weeks, obviously, when they played first, but they are coming out strong now. Afterthought still keeping it close, which is the thing I'm looking for. I mentioned how they were doing a great job with the passing plays, how sometimes they could get a little bit feisty on the pitch and, you know, just try and go for the solo plays instead. We saw 2 assisted goals, but I just feel like there wasn't as much effort in the passing plays. Then again, they didn't spend as much time on the offensive end, so my what's the word I'm looking for? It's my sample size. There you go. My sample size is too small to say for sure, I think.
Yeah, for RBG, they really wanted to sweep this series because game differential becomes so important. Now, having dropped that first game to Afterthought, they can't afford to really lose that next series. They can't afford to lose this series at all. And right now, they have a dogfight on their hands. To give you an idea of what RBG is up against, they're looking for at least a +2 game differential in the 2 matches here today. And that has gone out the window for the most part, having dropped a game to Afterthought. Now they really need to be on point for the rest of the day.
If you want all the math, just talk to Stacks after the show. He'll talk for hours.
Oh, how about Shock? What a redirect here, just coming in out of nowhere, and he gets Afterthought yet another lead.
And I will tell you, Shock's been a little bit quiet, but not this time around. A wonderful upper 90s shot. Delivery from Ty-Not Tyler over to Hato. Drops it off at the top of the box, and an excellent passing play altogether. Beautiful.
This kickoff goes right through to Rapid, as it's a loud start to game number 3. Big day in North America with 3rd and 4th places up for grabs. Rapid with a full tank of boost. He can't do anything with that as he lets the ball bounce right over his head. Fortunately for RBG, not really punished by it as Afterthought can't capitalize, but a rather uncharacteristic mistake from Rapid. Astro now trying to make the most out of an ugly situation. He's at least kept the ball on the offensive end. And who's going to take this? It's either Ty or Hato. It will be Ty. Dunks one through. Shock will look for an angle. Doesn't have the shot, but look out. That ball centered by Rapid, and Hato almost jumped all over it.
And now RBG try. Oh my goodness, Rapid. Where did this come from? Excellent double touch off the back wall. 3:45, and they've tied it up.
Well, if you're Rapid and you make a mess, you gotta clean it up yourself, and he does just that. Big challenge to give himself a look, drops that home, and again, Afterthought score first, RBG answers immediately, and here we are yet again. Sing me another verse just like the other one. Hato for Tyler, and he missed it entirely. Afterthought staying on offense. Hato, great pass, a screamer finds Shock, and Afterthought are in front again.
In order to be ready for this, there's so much concentration going on. You can tell Hato and Shock right there, so much communications have to be happening right there. Takes such faith to be waiting in the midfield exactly for that where that ball is going to go. Positioning pinch passes is so difficult, but they managed to do it. That's just the Afterthought that we need to see if they want a chance at top 4.
Hato is determined not to give up on the season tonight. 4 goals, 5 assists, as he is willing Afterthought across the finish line here. This is their 7th and final match of the season. A season that has been certainly disappointing in their minds. Aeon for Astro, looking for Rapid, and the 3-man play doesn't work out. The defense for Afterthought stands strong, at least for now. Hato with a save, and he just kills that ball for Ty to take downfield. This will bank towards the target, and Rapid has to not only save it, but make sure it doesn't find an orange car, and, well, it does bounce right by Shock. We're seeing that a lot.
And RBG just desperately trying to move downfield, but it's all Afterthought and all Shock as he picks up a hat trick, an excellent angle coming off the top just before halftime.
And it's Shock here. What happens with Astro is he goes into the net thinking, okay, I'm gonna guess where this shot's gonna go, and he's almost guessed right, but not quite enough. And yet another finds the back of the net for Afterthought. They've had plenty of offense. Now the defense needs to stand up for the second half of game 3.
And if I'm not mistaken, this feels like one of the only, if not the only 2-goal lead that or more that we've ever seen in this series so far. So now it's all up to RBG to try and respond to this.
It is Rapid giving away to Tyler, and Astro makes the save. What we're seeing out of RBG is they're making these saves. They're not giving up many really juicy rebounds. The ball is staying right there at their car, and they're trying to control to work downfield. It's not really getting them downfield quick enough, though. Shock able to chase this down, and Astro makes 1 save. Rapid will have a clear downfield. Astro's giving chase. Aeon as well. All 3 on the attack, and Shock is there for the save.
Incredible save at that, but the transition just not quite there for RBG. They're going to try and keep it up, easily touched away by Hato up the top corner. You can tell the possession has been all in favor of Afterthought. RBG actually matching them in shots for right now, but it really doesn't feel like that. It feels like the ball has been spending most of the time on the blue half, and we've seen such great passing plays and force plays coming from Afterthought. Just keeps the RBG rotation on their own half of the field.
Oh, Shock doesn't need the extra touch. This one will float its way home with 1:26 to go.
You were talking about Hato willing his team across the finish line, but I think I'm going to have to give that title to Shock right about now. He's got 4 goals on this game now. Only 3 of them are assisted. That one was just a little bit of his own magic and witchery or whatever you'll have. But now, just under 90 seconds remain. This is a huge turnaround for Afterthought. They've been keeping RBG at bay for what seems like the whole match. The midfield has belonged to them.
A big save by Hato coming down from the heavens, and now it's Shock getting around Astro. Got the midfield boost as well, but now the ball going back. It's Hato who makes the save. He'll find Ty. Shock is lurking, but now everybody's got to rush back. Lobbed up to that angle above the crossbar, and it's sent away yet again. And RBG are just left really scratching their heads at this point, trying to figure out what is going wrong, and they've only got the rest of this game and all of game 4 to try and figure it out.
And honestly, for RBG, I think the one thing that went wrong is, well, Shock went wrong. He decided to start playing the offense this game. He's actually playing on the Dominus, which is something I personally haven't seen him do very often. He usually plays on the Octane, but the flat car seems to be working pretty well for him with the 4 goals so far this game. Keeping his team in the lead of 3 in the final 30 seconds now, and things are looking to shape up for Afterthought quite significantly here.
It'll be Rapid tracking one to the corner. Just looking for anything to feel good about going into game 4, because there has not been a lot in this series. That pass will find Aeon, but he won't get a shot on target. Astro won't get a touch. Rapid shot is way high, and Aeon just gets stuffed at the end. And right now, Afterthought is on fire.
They are indeed, and as I discussed earlier, it's all on Shock's back this game. He has 4 shots, 4 goals, 100% shooting accuracy, which is very impressive. Hato obviously doing his bit, 2 assists and 5 saves. Very important indeed to match those 8 shots from RBG. And again, you're looking at the shot count, and it favors RBG. But
it's weird.
It doesn't. It doesn't in my mind.
Yeah. Right, it certainly doesn't, because it's high-quality shots coming from Afterthought. I mean, Shock certainly put the team on his shoulders in that game. And while Aeon is sitting there with 6 shots, that's great, but very few of them looked like they had even a remote chance of getting into the net.
Yeah, and I mean, Afterthought, I said that this is a largely offensive game and that Afterthought would look somewhat weak on defense, but at the same time, when you're only throwing 1 or 2 shots on target at a time, it's not going to work, obviously. So even if you throw 8 separate shots on target, it's not going to work unless you're throwing them consecutively one after the other, which is not what Afterthought was doing. That was what Afterthought was doing. It's not what RBG was doing. Afterthought, they were just high-flying. They were keeping the pressure always in their favor. Like I said earlier, the midfield line basically belonged to them, so they were just doing everything right by the book.
You go back to that very first match, that first week where we saw Afterthought, that emotionally charged matchup with Birds and the Bees, and he thought after they lost that Game 5, maybe they were a bit deflated, and it took them so long to get their bearings under them, to recover emotionally from that match. This Afterthought, if this team had been with us through weeks 2, 3, and 4, could very well have a shot at the promotion tournament the way they're playing. They look unbeatable right now. RBG have only barely slipped by 1 out of these first 3 games, and barely making that save is Rapid. Another hairline save, though. We have not seen much on the other end of the field for RBG.
Well, at the very least, they did keep Shock out because that was a very good shot. I like the idea there from Aeon as well, looking for demos. So RBG, a little bit of a mental reset moving into game number 4. They're just trying to match their opponents in any way possible.
RBG can still get into the top 4 if they lose this match, and Aeon is determined not to lose this match.
This was such a smart play by Rapid. I want you guys to watch him if you can. Look off to the right side of your screen. He actually backflips to stop Hato from going up for that ball. That is a 200 IQ play if I've ever seen it. We saw an earlier bump just past the midfield line on his own end of the field to slow down Shock, and then right there to take Hato out of the play. Huge heads-up play.
Rapid told me at the start of the season that we were going to see a Rapid reset from him. We haven't yet. And I'm wondering if he's maybe saving his best for last.
The coup de grace.
Well, it's got to come sooner or later if they're going to have any success. Tyler going to send one in. Shock looking to center for Ty, and Aeon clears the ball away yet again. But Hato is all over this. They're just winning the race to almost every loose ball at midfield. Shock is going to go up, drops one down for Ty, brute forces his way through, but it is forced off to the side, just barely.
And RBG barely holding on here, and boost control also favoring Afterthought. They're going to be retreating here, but it's not going to be for very long. Tyler to push it downfield. Shock didn't quite get the touch, but you can tell it does not matter. They've got all the control. RBG have to defer to them in just about every scenario right now.
Shock for Ty again. Boy, that pass has been there. Loose ball that finally Aeon retreats back for, and now Ty keeps the play alive. Hato denied by Rapid, and Astro with a good block on Shock, and finally RBG can look downfield yet again. It is Aeon taking his time to the side, and he's going to need some help. Rapid is there, so too is Shock. RBG vacates the offensive end, and they're right back in familiar territory, fending off another Afterthought attack. It is Astro looking for Aeon to come help him out. He has. That corner boost is up for grabs as Rapid shot will not find the mark. Aeon will try again. He may follow this up himself. He does, and almost dunked it through Shock.
A great read and a great try, but right now RBG honestly looks like they're just trying to get a couple of shots here and there if they can, but more than that, they are trying to keep possession in the offensive zone. They're doing a great job of it right now. This one will finally move past the midfield line with a great transitional play, but the foundation is there. They just need to move their rotations upfield next time around, make sure they have the boost control and go for it.
Tyler for Shock. Hasn't worked out again for Afterthought, still scoreless through 3 minutes against this RBG team, facing a sweep. Astro not able to find Rapid. Hado's gonna have a look at this ball. Looking to go down the middle, saved by Aeon. And again, Afterthought appearing to be one and done as another ball finds its way downfield.
Great transition from RBG. Aeon couldn't put that one on target, but Rapid will be able to off the passing play. And this is exactly why that was important in the first place.
Rapid with his second goal of the series going sky high, picks out his spot. It did bounce on the way in, so he loses style points, but he'll take the goal, a 2-0 lead for RBG.
And Aeon touching that ball off to the side, so incredibly important. Got it away from the defender. He was not worried about the immediate play. He was more looking to try and keep the ball in the offensive zone, which is something I said they need to focus on. Great job implementing that kind of play.
Shock. Looking to go up the wall. Everybody misses this. Ty thought Aeon was going to hit it. Doesn't matter. It is Hado adding another to the tally.
And this kind of shot can be so difficult to score, but when the defender is backwards, not exactly. And Rapid was unfortunately in that situation. Hado putting that one crossbar down in an excellent placement, but it's only one. RBG can still maintain this lead with 76 seconds left on the clock if they want to force Game 5.
This game has been so unlike the others so far as Rapid is blocked by Shock. Every other game, Afterthought has scored first and RBG has come back with a quick answer. This time it is RBG pouring it on as Aeon adds a third for RBG.
And the crossbar is just the cherry on top. A great pass from Astro over to Aeon, and that bounced straight from the upper corner and in. That makes my heart swell. I love to see that. That is absolute perfection.
Just over a minute remains as RBG tries to hang on and force Game 5. If you've only watched select parts of this series, you'd think that Afterthought was completely dominating them in all facets, but RBG are hanging around. Rapid gonna take his time, going underneath, pinballs around and it goes in.
This is so unfortunate for Afterthought. They've got this figured out. Rapid has two options here. You can flick it or fake it. They had both options covered, and when Hado went to make the save, Shock's car was in front of it. And that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Rapid going with option C.
Is that the Rapid
Play
reset?
them both like a fiddle. I'm sure it's not.
I don't think so.
I'm sure he will claim it is, just to save face.
That's it. It's his fallback.
Yes.
Just in case.
Well, RBG has certainly saved face here. They almost had a fifth goal. We've had a few games that have not really been close in this series. This one, no exception. 4-1 the lead for RBG, threatening to add another. Hado with a clear, only towards Aeon. We get down to the final 15 seconds. That's cleared by Tyler, as Afterthought looks to at least score the last goal of Game 4. Try to have anything going their way going into Game 5. The final seconds will tick away. And Hado has that blocked by Astro, and now as we get into a fifth game between these two teams, Squid, Afterthought, a lot of pressure on them now after losing the opportunity to close out RBG the first time around. If they lose this match, they are in fact completely out of contention for top 4. As it is, even winning in 5 games, it is not pretty for them.
This series has just been crazy. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we saw 2 one-goal games, one game in favor of either team, right? So Afterthought 1-1, RBG 1-1. And then we had a 3-goal game, both in favor of either team. Why? Why do you guys do this? Like, why can't we just have a consistent level of gameplay where we just have, 5 close games or 5, far-fetched games? But no, they just had to give us the exact split, which I guess is nice, but at the same time, it makes my job so much harder. Right?
Well, yeah, here's the best case scenario right now for Afterthought. Let's say they win Game 5 here. They finish their season at 3-4. Congratulations, but they have a -2 game differential if they win the next game. That is not likely to hold up. They need a lot of dominoes to fall if they're going to get into the top 4. And for RBG, they win this next game, they will in fact need to beat Birds and the Bees just to be secure about their spot in the top 4.
And that was already a toss-up. When we were looking at that match, we were talking about Birds and the Bees. We were kind of skeptical on that one. We said, okay, well, if they take Afterthought down, then, it's going to be a bit more of a, you got leeway there. Not so anymore, even if they win. So
Well, we are about to get underway on Champions Field, game number 5. Must win for Afterthought. Really as close to a must win as it gets for RBG as well. High drama to start the night in North America. As Rapid looking to chase one down, that is Tyler who plays it instead. Hado going over top of Astro, and Aeon is there to stop him.
Well, that's the way you want to do it. Starting out aggressive, making a one-man play to force the defense to make a play. Same goes for RBG there. A great passing play. Astro has the bottom left-hand corner.
Rapid not trying to do too much here. A lot of players might have thrown a bad shot at the net. He knows he's got Astro over there. Grounded pass, grounded shot, and Rapid Shock not able to get over there in time. And it is 1-0 to RBG.
They're looking to pick up right where they left off with the last match. Obviously, a 4-1 scoreline is very favorable. They'd rather not have a bit of cardiac arrest in this game. They want to walk away with this unscathed.
It feels like so long ago that Afterthought was scoring the first goal of each game. Another shot low. Aeon there as the defense for Afterthought just got jammed up.
And Hado coming off the back wall here, trying to make a touch out, but nobody was prepared for the follow. Tyler just came off the back wall, and Shock was also at the front post, causing significant issues when you don't have a man in the back post spot. But it's only in the first minute of gameplay, so at least they can take a step back and try and reset themselves.
There are 4 players in this match that have at least 4 goals.
Oh,
it has been a shootout. Off the backboard, Rapid adds another, make it 5 players with 4 goals.
I thought Astro was going to impress me, and, well, at least you made a good pass out of it. So sometimes I think the philosophy is that the best passes are just bad shots.
Well, we will take a moment here as we want to make sure that all the players are able to carry on. Looked like it was Rapid scoring that last goal there, so both these teams locked in a tight 5th game, a lot on the line here, and now the pressure is starting to mount as we get a little bit further into that game.
Yeah, things going to look a little bit tougher for Afterthought now moving forward. We did have a player disconnect. Shock is currently having connection issues, so we're going to get that back as soon as we can. But in terms of the game, for Afterthought, things is going to be much more difficult because coming back from a 4-1 scoreline, you do not have any momentum whatsoever. And then a 3-0 to start off this game is not going to help either. How can they mentally reset for this one? I don't know. That's really up to them, but it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, at least they might get a mental reset out of this because right now it feels like RBG are just coming fast and furious at them and not relenting at all. It has been non-stop offense really from the start of Game 4. It has felt like the field has been tilted downhill towards the Afterthought net.
Which is interesting to say, actually, because we did see in games 1, 2, and 3, it felt like it was all Afterthought. For the longest time, it felt like RBG was fighting an uphill battle, kind of tilted in the other direction, if you would. But Afterthought were generally out shooting them. Second game, I believe that was not the case. But Afterthought with a majority of possession for the longest time, things really felt like it was just in their control. And it's just not happening these last 2 games. Game number 4, definitely not in their favor by any sense of the word. And this time around, no luck either.
Well, as we look at the standings here, just get a sense of what these teams are playing for at this point. RBG, yeah, they sit there at 3-2, but their spot in the top 4 is not secured by any means. They need to, first of all, win this match, and then most likely might have to beat Birds and the Bees just to be secure with their spot inside the top 4. Afterthought lurking down there. They can get to 3-4 if some results go their way, and some very well could. They could find themselves in the top 4. It's that group right there from 3 to 6 that all have a shot at it today.
And actually, I mean, on that note, I have to say I'm very impressed with this season of the Rivals Series. Even if Afterthought wins this one, they're going to be 3-4, but top 4 is not necessarily going to be secured. Once again, if you're just joining us, Shock had a little bit of a disconnect. We're just getting him back in the game. We are in game number 5, though. We paused out with a 3-0 scoreline, which is the big part of that one that we were talking about, but huge implications for this match, as you were discussing just a moment ago, with RBG most likely going to get that top 4 spot with a lot of, as you said earlier, I really like this wording, if a lot of dominoes fall, they're going to have the number 4 spot.
And if RBG does hang on to win this game, if they can secure this lead and hold on for the rest of it, they can get a little bit of help. You know, you got the next match coming up between the Dudes and Plot Twist. That match if the dudes somehow win, they come in at 1-5, as you saw in the standings a moment ago. The dudes win that match, RBG wins this match. RBG doesn't have to worry about birds and the bees. They'll get into the top 4. But it is a tall, tall task right now against an Afterthought team that when they get back onto the pitch, they know their backs are going to be against the wall, and that's when a team, I think, is at their most dangerous.
Yeah, it is valuable to get this time to reset for them mentally. Obviously, that can be very important for a team, and we've known Afterthought to be a little bit in that vein where, they could definitely use that kind of mental break from the game for just a second to make sure that things are all running well and smooth. But RBG, they came out strong in the first minute, and I really feel like things are going to go their way as long as they can keep up the pressure that they did at the end of game number 4 and what we saw from the beginning of game number 5. Some insane plays right off the bat. We saw a couple of assisted goals as well. Things just going very well. So for Afterthought, gonna be definitely a tough task, I feel.
Yeah, and a lot of offense, a very stark contrast to what we saw in Europe. A very defensive-heavy day in Europe. And on the North American side, this match alone, you got 5 of the 6 players have at least 4 goals. Some have plenty more than that. As we do get back underway, a 3-0 lead for Afterthought, or for rather RBG Esports. Afterthought have their backs against the wall, and it's still just the first minute that just wrapped up. As Shock is back in the game and ready to go. Astro looking for Rapid. He is blocked by Hato. And let's see if Shock can recover and get Afterthought back into this series.
And Shock was the star striker for Afterthought in game number 3, especially when they ended off with a 5-2 scoreline or something of the sort. He was just going completely off, and it's all about Hato. Oh, what a save from Astro. Hato gets denied at the goal line.
If that had happened in the first half of this series, you would have assumed it had gone in, and Astro makes it a 2-goal swing, make a save on one end and score on the other.
And a great flick pass there from Aeon. Has to force Shock to try and get up in the air for that one, but just could barely not get a whale on that one. And now, 3 minutes, 23 seconds, RBG sitting pretty with a 4-0 lead.
4 goals for Rapid, 5 goals for Aeon, 5 for Astro as well. And a 4-0 lead as RBG look to run away with this in game 5. Tyler, oh, what a save on the goal line by Rapid.
That has to be a heartbreaker because Hato was in such a good spot. They made such an incredible team play to get that one blasted towards the line, but it wasn't in the air. Rapid was covering the likely line, and there it is. You get a save for it. Heartbreak for Afterthought.
Rapid lobbing one up. Astro is there off the post and out. Aeon called off by Astro. That gives Ty time to at least challenge, but we're coming up on the halfway mark of a game that feels like it's been going for 10 minutes right now if you're Afterthought, because they have done nothing but defend. Finally down the other way, and Aeon makes sure it doesn't go any further.
I was talking about in earlier matches how the midfield line was so important, and Afterthought were able to control it so well. The tide has turned. It's RBG now who are in charge of their own end of the field. They are not letting Afterthought have a single inch without working for it.
With as good as Afterthought looked in this series, it feels like it really is a symbol of how this season has gone for them. A lot of disappointment. They expected to be at the top when all was said and done. They went up 2-1. They looked like they were flying high, and instead they have come crashing back to earth. 2 minutes remain. Aeon blocked away by Hato, and Astro is more than willing to just play ping pong back and forth at the center line.
And that really goes for the whole RBG team. I mean, they're at this point willing to just box Afterthought out as long as they can. And for Afterthought, it's going to start getting desperate very quickly. Now only 90 seconds on the clock to make a 4-goal comeback. This is not looking good.
Drop pass for Tyler, and he's thrown one way off the mark. Rapid may have another touch. No, it is Aeon who does, however, his 6th of the series.
5-0 now for RBG, and a great move downfield. Rapid looking for the double touch, and Hato has to respect it. Going up to try and make the defensive play, leaves it completely open for Aeon. And now Afterthought's morale is just going down from here. 5-0 with 76 seconds left, and I think honestly, they're troopers for hanging in with this one right about now. We've seen plenty of good attempts from them, but I don't think it's going to happen.
15 goals in this series for RBG. the Achilles heel for Afterthought all season long is that they have not stopped many shots. One of the lowest save percentages in the league, and they're not saving that one either.
Rapid he's just gonna roll this one past the goal line, only 36 miles an hour. But a good pass from Astro made this play possible. He chose to play the slow ball on that one as well to try and get it past the defender. And you can tell right about now, the life is leaving Afterthought's eyes. They had a good run. They came out strong for this series, and then again, I have to give them commendations for playing this one strong. But it looks like it's gonna be all RBG's game in the final minute now, 6-0.
Afterthought doesn't feel so good after all this. Aeon missing entirely. That shot will go for Shock, and now it seems like the only drama left is will we have a 7-1 scoreline.
I've already got my bags packed for that snack, so I don't know if that goes for everybody backstage as well with Subi and Corelli, but I'm ready.
All right, we're ready for a trip. 37 seconds remain. On the other side, it would take greater than a miracle for Afterthought to hang around in this game. That's a drop down by Rapid, and Shock will add another with 28 seconds left.
Well, I guess it's time to unpack my bags, but at least Afterthought getting a little bit of a good representation here at the end. A little bit of a mistouch there from Rapid, and Aeon wasn't able to make it, but nothing that they can't handle. A 4-goal deficit now. Still 28 seconds. I mean, it's doable, but I will not lay any claim to the fact that it's going to happen.
Rapid will kill some more time, and if it wasn't over before, it probably is now. Only 20 seconds remain. Hato gives that ball away to Aeon. Ball missed in the corner by Ty, and Aeon just, well, he could dribble this out all he wants at this point, and he will, in fact, keep that ball right in front of the Afterthought net, and that will do it. Boy, at times, RBG looked like a hot mess, really just puzzled by Afterthought on both sides of the field, but they figure it out. You get 5 games for a reason.